Remodeling Business Blueprint, Episode 51. Email marketing or direct mail? Which one is best? Welcome to another episode of the Remodeling Business Blueprint Podcast, the podcast for remodeling and trade contractors. Our goal is to help contractors have a strong, successful business with the assurance of a bright, enjoyable future. If you want to grow your construction business, keep listening. If you want to grow your business even faster, visit scientificremodelingsystem.com and become a premium member. My name is Randall Souls, and I'm here with my partner, David Hawke.
Hey, Randall, how are you doing today?
Pretty good.
Awesome. Well, today we've got an incredible show. We're going to be discussing whether email marketing or direct mail is the best way to market. And little spoiler alert, the answer is both.
I guess we should start by saying what is email marketing? What is direct mail? Let's define those.
Right. So, you and I have been using email marketing for years. It's basically where you gather people's names, email addresses into a program, and then you can send messages to them. You can time them to go out at specific points in time, and just kind of keeping up with your audience, which we always recommend because it's kind of after the sale. Just keeping yourself in front of them, letting them know about new things. But it's all done through technology.
Right. And email marketing is very powerful. And they say the money is in the list. The money is in the list. In other words, you need to always be capturing email addresses and creating a relationship with those people. And that's what email marketing is good at.
Right. And one thing I want to point out, Randall, email marketing, some people get very aggravated if you email them without asking. So just ask them, hey, we've got this newsletter that we send out every now and then. Would it be okay if we sent you those emails? So make sure that they've said it's okay, because it can really turn people off. And if these people are your customers, you sure don't want to make them mad over something like that.
Right. And I always, one of my processes I have written up is that whether you get a job or not, you make a visit to a home.
Yeah.
At the end of that, if they say no, you would say, do you mind if I put you on our email list and I'll send you an occasional newsletter or news? Or if they call in and they say, well, we're interested, but we don't want an appointment right now, you say, well, you mind if we just take your email address and send you some news when we have some?
Right. And it just keeps you in front of people. And, it also lets you tell people different things, because as well as I do, you've gone to people that you've done remodeling jobs for. They call you out to do something else, and you see they tiled their whole bathrooms. Like, why didn't you call me? I didn't know you did that. So keeping in front of these people with different things and showing different job pictures and what's going on, I think is great, because it also just lets them know you do more.
That's right.
Well, let's talk about direct mail, Randall.
Yeah, you have spent a lot of time and money on this one.
Yes, I have. There's lots of ways to mail people. But basically, direct mail is the old, fashioned, drop something in the mail, put a stamp on it, and send it to their house. And something we found is very few people are doing this anymore because of technology. And, an email marketing software can cost you anywhere from $12 to probably $25, maybe $40 a month. So it's really not expensive. Where direct mail, if you're sending it out to 100 people or 150, you're probably going to be spending $100 to $150, maybe a little bit more, when everything's said and done, But email marketing is definitely less expensive, but it makes direct mail more powerful because less people are doing it. And people do still like receiving things in the mail.
Right. And we're going to go over direct mail a little further on in the episode.
Yeah. And one other thing, Randall, that I wanted to add to this is Facebook Messenger marketing. This is a growing thing. It's relatively new right now in 2018. Um, and it's just so powerful because you think if you are sending emails to customers, you're probably getting somewhere around a 20% open rate on your emails. Well, messenger marketing gets about a 97% open rate, which means people are reading it. 97% of the people you're sending it to read it. And there are different things you've got to comply with to use messenger marketing. But we talked about that in the last episode, which was episode 50. So if you've got any questions or you want to look at messenger marketing, we actually gave a free campaign to show exactly how that thing can work. It's just one entry point. There are various entry points where you can engage prospects there. But again, listen to episode 50 for more on messenger marketing.
One of the things we didn't go over in episode 50 was something that messenger marketing allows you to do, and that's use chatbots. And we're not going to go over it here, but I'm sure we're going to do an episode on it because David has used this and it's incredible. You can basically automate your answers.
Yes. So if you have people messaging you, and by the way, it's like 56% of people, consumers, have said they'd rather do business with somebody that they can message. So these kind of things are getting more powerful by day. And if you have a business and you can actually send them to Messenger through your website contact page. So if they've just got questions on do you do kitchen remodeling, you can have that program set up to see the kitchen remodeling and just anticipate and automatically send an answer. And even at the very least, if they're sending you something and the program doesn't know what they're talking about, it can immediately send them a message that says, hey, I'm the automated message system for this business. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, but I'll send a message. I'll have a person contact you back as soon as possible. And 90% of consumers say they will do business with the first person that contacts them back. So it's very important. You know, we're getting shorter and shorter attention spans these days, and we expect everything now. So
That's right.
This program is really coming into play hard.
So, David, what should a business use? I mean, should they use direct marketing or email marketing, and what's the benefit of using these?
I think they should use both. I mean, it's like newsletters, and they're great for referrals and repeat business. So, you know, if you're coming up to a slow month, you know you're going to have a slow month, send out an email, a letter, or even both that says, you know, we've got a little time coming up next month, and if you've been looking at doing anything or thinking about doing anything to your house, that'd be a great time. We'd be able to get you in then.
Yeah, you could say things like, well, we've had a 3-month backlog, but this month you only have to wait 30 days before we
Right.
start your job. So, but that has an effect on people. You know, it's called urgency in marketing.
Definitely. And you know, we talked about that. I remember a conversation you and I had years ago because I was getting pretty lean in my business. I needed some work to keep going, and you told me send the newsletter. Now, well, you know, what should I put in there? And I didn't know, and I kind of fought back and forth with that. But I just wound up writing a simple, about a 2-paragraph little letter, and mailed it. And at the time, I think I mailed 21 letters. It was to my existing customers. And, you know, I wound up closing it was a $20,000 plus bathroom remodel out of that one letter.
That's great.
Yeah. I mean, letter cost me $10 to send, and they work. I've never sent a newsletter that somebody didn't respond, and somehow I got business from it, whether it was a referral or another job.
And I'll second that. I mean, it never fails to produce a job. Another thing you can do here is you can announce company events. You know, if you're wondering what to put in these newsletters, talk about your company events. What's going on? Did you hire a new employee? Do you have an employee of the month? Does someone have a baby?
Right, right. And, kids and pets, those get a lot of attention from people.
That's right.
And you can also send happy birthday greetings. Something we do, Randall, with a postcard is actually send stuff that's completely unrelated to any kind of, I'm looking for a postcard. I don't see one on my desk, or I'd read a couple. But information that's completely unrelated to remodeling, but there'll be, I don't know, it's like 10 or 20 different little snippets of just kind of interesting trivia stuff. And we find people keep those things. And on the backside, of course, there's a message from the contractor that says whatever the contractor wants to say that month. And those work really well, and they're very inexpensive to send. So that's kind of cool.
Well, let's get into how can you implement this. In email marketing, as we mentioned before, you can just use your own mail list. And then I don't know how many of you are familiar with autoresponders, but they're basically places we can put our list and broadcast to very easily. And what happens if you use a good email provider like GetResponse, that's the one we like a lot. Mm-hmm. They have a better delivery rate than if you sent those yourself. A lot of yours will go to spam, especially when they go through corporate servers. So these people have like 99.9% delivery rate.
Right. And, that's important. Another thing that's important is if you're sending email for business, legally, you're supposed to send people or give people the ability to opt out of getting those emails. And these autoresponders like GetResponse actually put that in for you. So you're compliant with spam rules and things like that.
That's very important. I mean, it's so aggravating to get one you cannot opt out of. And so what I do is I send them to junk mail, and they get a bad reputation eventually.
That's a good point, too. You're right. Yeah.
Now, in direct mailing is a little more complicated because where emails are somewhat difficult to get, the addresses, the address and name of people is even more difficult.
It can be. I mean, there are, if nobody's ever looked, something I want to say before actually talking to get names and addresses is you talked about delivery rates and autoresponders and emails and stuff. That's a big deal. If you're sending out 200 emails or 400 emails and only half of them are getting delivered, then you're already down 50% on that before, people don't open it or whatever. Where direct mail, that's going. If you then it should be sent first class, but direct mail is going to that mailbox. So
let me bring in something else here then that autoresponders do, and they give you the stats. So we know not only what percentage opened, we know what they clicked on, and we can also look up the individual and see who they are.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's another good point. Autoresponders give you a lot of analytics and things that is very valuable to your business, and you can use those things because if somebody clicked on it, they've got an interest. You can email them again with a specific message about, hey, would you like me to come, look at whatever or help you with whatever they're interested in. So it works really well.
How can we get these names and addresses? What are some ways?
Well, there are a lot of ways. The easiest of which I have found to be a program called Reference USA. And you can actually get that you can access the program for free, but a lot of times it's through a library or public library. And that's the way I get access is I've got a library card and I go through their website. It's all done from my home, but I go through their website, Access Reference USA, and it'll give you all kinds of names. But then there are other services Melissa Data is one that I like, and they'll give you a lot of different information so you can target zip codes and, incomes and lots of different things.
So mailing can get really expensive. The stamps are expensive. Is there an economical way to get these things delivered? And what should you put the message on?
The most economical way is going to be a postcard, and it's called EDDM, and you can access that through the post office. You have to have special sizes of postcards to go EDDM. So if you're interested in that, make sure you don't just use any postcard because it needs to be printed specific. But that's probably the most economical way. And the things that come to your house that says resident and things like that, they don't have your name on it. A lot of times that's EDDM. And then, of course, there's postcards. Postcards are very inexpensive, and they can be really nice-looking postcards. I recommend those because you can send them with a first-class stamp. And anything that doesn't have a first-class stamp, the post office is really not required to put in the mailbox and not tracked on. So you may just find a whole stack of postcards or letters that went bulk rate in the dumpster, and there's really not much anybody's going to do about it. So first class, I always recommend. It is a little more expensive, but if they're not getting a letter, it really doesn't matter.
Right. So how often should you do this?
That's kind of up to you. I recommend minimum once a month just to stay in front of people. And, there was a statistic that I looked up some years ago, and I think it's 64, 69%. I think it's 69% of people say they don't do business again with a company because of perceived indifference. So they just don't hear from them again, so they wind up going and finding somebody else. And, that happened to me just recently. My air conditioner went out last week, and I didn't call the people that had been here before because, they're off and gone. I haven't heard a thing from them. I wound up calling another guy. So it is something, staying in front of people every month. It puts your information in front of them again, and it lets them know that I'm thinking about you, and you're going to get another job. It's always paid. And, you said it can get expensive, and it can, but if you send out even $1,000 worth of letters and you get a $20,000 bathroom remodel job, well, that really wasn't an expense. It was an investment.
Well, David, one of the things my wife and I always say is life is just one big experiment. And so, and I'm saying that because you need to test these things. It's an experiment. You don't know what the results are going to be. So experiment with newsletters, experiment with direct marketing, and see what works for you. And,
right.
And keep tweaking that until you get the best results.
Yeah, and I would recommend, Randall, if people haven't tried, if they're looking at direct mail and they haven't tried it yet, don't go grab 10,000. Don't go try and send 10,000 letters, but target a specific place. If you're looking for new customers and you're doing this cold, target a neighborhood that you want to work in and just mail that neighborhood. Make them an offer.
And that goes back to that. How do you get these addresses? And what David's doing, he's going out and he's saying, I want this zip code, right?
Right.
And I want this demographic. I want them to have an income of $50,000 a year or more.
Yeah, and there are, in that Reference USA program, like I said, it's free through the library. You can actually go in and draw out a geography that you want. So you can target specific neighborhoods and just get the addresses of people in that neighborhood. So it doesn't even have to be as big as the zip code.
Right. And just think how powerful that is when you're working there, your sign's out in the yard, and you just want to, maybe there's 50 houses in this subdivision. Just think how powerful that is to send out direct mail to them and say, look, we're here. Pardon any inconvenience. If you have any questions or would like us to look at your home, just contact us.
Yeah, we used to do when we would do a job, we would go look at across the street and we would go 4 houses down on either side across the street and then 3 houses down to their neighbors on the same side of the street and make sure you get letters to them and just tell them, I'm here. If you've got anything you're thinking about, I'm going to be in the neighborhood anyway. I'll be glad to pop over there and take a look at it. Guarantee you'll get jobs out of that. And that's cheap. I mean, what are you sending? 9 letters or something?
Yeah,
12?
it's nothing. And it's very likely you'll get a job.
Definitely. I've gotten more jobs off of stuff like that and truck signs and yard signs, that they're one-time expenses and you'll make money with it for sure. But like you said, Randall, it's just something that's got to be tested. It's a great point.
Well, David, that brings us to the end of another very informative Remodeling Business Blueprint episode. This is Remodeling Business Blueprint episode 51, email marketing or direct mail. And we've talked about which one is best, how they work, gave you some ideas how you can use them in your business, and they are sure to increase your leads and your sales. If you're looking to grow your business faster, check out the Scientific Remodeling System at scientificremodelingsystem.com. And please like us on Facebook at facebook.com/remodeling business blueprint. You can leave a comment there and share your experiences with us. You can also comment under each episode at our website, remodelingbusinessblueprint.com, and hit the contact button at the top of the page. Also, you can now join the brand new Remodeling Business Blueprint Facebook group. You can find a link in the show notes or search for Remodeling Business Blueprint group. That is not our Remodeling Business Blueprint page on Facebook. It's the group. Join us and many of your fellow remodelers, builders, trades for lively discussions and honest sharing. You can email us at feedback@remodelingbusinessblueprint.com. Premium members get priority replies. They can reach us at premium@remodelingbusinessblueprint.com. Lastly, we'd love it if you'd review us on iTunes. And a big thank you to all of our listeners. We really do appreciate you. Tune in next week, where David and I are going to delve into what makes a good website a great website. Until next week, say goodbye, David.
Thanks, everybody. Looking forward to talking to you next week. Bye.
Ciao.